Welcome to my channel. This is lesson 4, and we'll be carrying on different technique on how to create a poly model. In the last lesson, lesson 3, we learned how to manipulate a physical shape that we use in Autodesk Maya. In this lesson, in lesson 4, we'll be creating an object using curve tools, curve pen tools specifically. And we'll be essentially drawing a shape instead of changing the model of a square or a circle per se. Now we can get on with this lesson. Now the first thing we want to do is move this image and the wine bottle up towards the x-axis, which is the center here. We want to move it a bit up in order to use the curve tool. So we select the image and the bottle, select the move tool by pressing W, and move it up right around there. There you go. Now, since we are making this glass, let's get rid of this bottle for now. What you want to do is move to the side view, or more preferably, the front view if your image is on the front. Right now, it doesn't really matter. The front and the side should be the same because it is a symmetrical shape. For now, let's get rid of the X-ray so we can see the bottle. Rename the bottle, double click, wine bottle. And now this wine bottle is very close to our glass. Now, an easy way to get rid of it or hide it is select your object and literally just press H. And it's no longer there. The image is gone, but if you want to reselect it, reappear it, you can go to your outliner. You see the wine bottle is grayed out. Now you just select the wine bottle and press H again, and it will reappear. For now, let's get rid of it. Now I want to move this glass to the center of this x-axis. We can do that by first finding the x-axis. If you zoom out, you can visibly see the darker lines. And let's move it directly at the center. Again, Alt, middle click to drag around. It's your wheel. You click that wheel in order to move it around. Alt, click the wheel and move it around. Now let's get a closer symmetry right around there. Now, first thing you want to do is make sure it's on the side or the front. You want to go to Create, Curve Tools, and I always use the CV Curve Tool. Now, before you click anything, you have these options right here. An easy way to make anything on these grid instead of just anywhere on the board, just like this. It's right now anywhere, it's clicking everywhere I select it, and it becomes a bit messy. Now instead, what you can do is select Snap to Grid. And if your option is not here, if you don't see this, it might be because it's hidden. If you select this, it goes away. If you select it again with the arrow, all the information shows up, all the tools show up, just the same as here. We don't need to use this, so we'll just hide it. Snap to Grid. Now, when I click, it snaps to the closest intersection, and it makes it much cleaner. There you go. Now, select this, have your curve tool, and we'll create the wine glass from the inside out, and we'll create a 3D layer. We'll create 2 layers, one on the inside and the outside. Let's start with here. Now, because we don't need the grid right now, the best option is to deselect it and go as close to the wine bottle as you can. Let's create the second layer, the outer layer. Best option is to select it on the other side of wherever your other dot is. Now we want it to be centered. Let's click this, and it snaps to the center. Once we've created this, press enter. And you can see an outline of the shape that we've just created. But we've only created one side of it. That's because an easy way to replicate it and make sure that all the lines are the same is, once you have this line selected, go to surfaces and click revolve. You can see that it automatically makes a symmetry and makes the same exact points on the other side of the x-axis. For this to happen, you have to make sure it's at the center of your x-axis and your y-axis. Now you can see that it is actually black. That's because the object is actually upside down. To change that, we have to reverse direction, and now you can see the original texture. Just like the wine bottle was gray, this is gray. Now let's go back and we can see the wine glass. Now if you ever want to edit individual parts of it, an easy way is to come back to your side, make sure your x-ray's on, and just go to Control Vertex. Then you can select each point and just edit it if you want to. Now notice that the grid is not selected. If I were to select the grid, it will snap to the closest grid. It snaps every half pace. Let's go back, deselect it, and there you have your glass bottle, your glass cup. I do want to make the bottom of this a bit wider, so let's go back, let's select curve point, and let's select all of this. Now if you move it to the left, it's just going to go to the left. Instead, let's scale it, and let's scale this wider. I think that's okay. No, too big. That's good. Now I want to make this a bit less of a curve. Let's select Control Vertex, and let's actually move it up. And because there's a tiny bit of curve here instead of being flat, let's press R for scaling, and let's scale it down. This gives it a more sharper curve and a flatter surface. There you go. Because you're not seeing the bottom of the glass, you don't really have to edit it, but if you want to, you can. Now, let's see if we can delete our original curve so that it doesn't get in the way. Yep. Now that you're done with your curve drawing, it's just easier to get it out of the way, so when we move objects, we don't have to select both. Now we have our glass. Let's rename this glass cup, and let's make our wine bottle not hidden. Because we moved it to the center, we moved our cup to the center. Let's move this to the left, and there you go. We have our cup and our bottle. Now the next step, which is in the next lesson, will be learning how to texture and essentially give this models some color.